I want to tell you a story about, in this case, we're going to call them Luke and Lisa. It's not their real names to protect the innocent or maybe the guilty, as you might determine. Well, Luke and Lisa were like any other family. They were doing the best they could, working, trying to support their family. But things were really tight and really tough. And they couldn't make ends meet. And they went to their local church they were members of, and they said, "We need help." And the church says, "Well, we would love to help you, Luke and Lisa. What can we do? How can we help?" And they said, "Well, we're behind in our utility bills. For 5 months, they're about to turn off our electricity. Could you help?" And so the church helped them with their utility bills that, again, for 5 months they hadn't been paying. But they were worried about the long term, like, how do we help them like, how long is this going to be? How do we help them become more self-reliant? So they asked me to come and help to serve and to minister with this family. And so I got to start working with them, and we met every week for a while, trying to master the principles of good financial stewardship and money management. Watching your expenses, setting a budget, having communication and discussions and teamwork, unity between Luke and Lisa with their financial decisions week in and week out. Well, we met together for a couple of months, and we were really working through this and changing their habits, their mindset, their behaviors, how they thought about money, how they treated money, and how they handled their monthly bills. And after a while, we stopped meeting together so frequently, and after a little bit of time, I asked them and said, checking in, "How's it been? How's it going?" And I'm just hoping that they were still doing those healthy routines, because it's always easy to fall back into old habits and stop doing what was working at one time. Well, anyway, the tribute to Luke and Lisa, they were still doing it. And they were having their meetings. They were adjusting their budget. They were trying to work through it. He had lost his job right before we had met. And so talk about additional financial strain. So we talked about maximizing income, finding side hustles, working, starting your own business, getting other jobs, and everybody, all hands on deck. They were really working and hustling to try to stabilize their income, and no wonder they hadn't been making their bills. So anyway, I checked in with them and said, "How's it been?" "Oh, things are great. We're still doing everything." Well, hallelujah, that's excellent. "Tell me about it." And they said, "Well, over the last year, we've paid off $53,000 worth of debt." What a tribute to them. Living these principles, it's not rocket science. It's not complicated, but sometimes it can be hard. But they went from no electricity payments for 5 months to now paying off $53,000 worth of debt. They were so close to declaring bankruptcy. And they turned it around based on their habits and behaviors and saved themselves from bankruptcy. And you can too. It's just about the habits and behaviors. Do it.